Welcome to Vandersteen Audio. Today we're going to show you how to replace the grill sock on a classic Vandersteen speaker. The first thing we want to do is remove the top of the speaker. To do this, we're going to break the four corners loose first. Take a flat blade screwdriver, insert it between the top of the speaker and the bottom of the top, and just tap it in. Stay about an inch away from the corner so that we don't hit anything underneath. Tap it in, pry down a little bit, pry down on the handle so you don't damage the top. Once you have the four corners loose, just start prying across the front, little at a time, till it breaks loose. Once you have the top removed, you can now start removing the staples. You can take your flat blade screwdriver, slide it up against the staple and tap on it, and the staples will start to come out. If they do not want to come out all the way, you can take a small pair of cutters and they will pry right out once you've knocked them loose. Once all the staples are removed from the top, you can roll the cloth just slightly around. Next, we will flip the speaker over and remove the bottom. The bottom will have anywhere from 4 to 7 Phillips head screws, depending on the model that you're going to work on. Use the same screwdriver method you used for the top. You can hammer it in, pry it down, and the bottom will break loose. Once you have the bottom loose, it's a matter of removing the staples just like we did on the top. Now that we have both the top and the bottom loose, the next step will be to remove the rear plate so that we can get the cloth completely off. Just need to remove the 6 screws holding the plate down. Then you can pull the plate back. Do not remove the wires. There's no need to remove the wires when replacing the cloth. Just leave them as so. And you just need to remove the staples around the perimeter, the same manner that we did the top and the bottom. Once you have all the staples removed, you'll be able to pull the cloth around the plate, up over the speaker. Okay, our speaker is ready to be recovered. We've taken our new grill cloth. The grill sock that you get will come sewn inside out. So the first thing you need to do is flip it so that the seam is on the inside. Now we just take the cloth, slide it with the seam in the cloth, get the back of the speaker, put it toward the center, and just slowly slide the cloth down around the speaker. Have the cloth sticking up about 1/2 inch all the way around, and then you can proceed to staple the cloth down. Start by stapling, putting a staple at the seam, one in the very front in the center, and one on the sides in the center. Then you can do the corners. Start in the very corner, putting one staple like such. Then you can fold over the excess over the top of it, and the same thing on the other corner. And then you just need to repeat that for the 4 corners. Once you have the 4 corners stapled, now you can staple the front, back, and the sides. And you just need to put a staple every 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch. Once the top is stapled, you can flip the speaker over, and now we will do the bottom. The first thing you want to do is make sure that the flaps on your seam are laying flat. All you have to do is kind of run your hand down it and pull a little bit, and they'll flatten out. Line up the seam with the center of the bottom, and just gently pull to get the slack out of the cloth. And then just put 3 staples across, and then one toward the back right on the seam to keep the seam straight. Once you've done that, you can pull it snug somewhat, add another staple on each side, then go across to the front of the speaker, pull it slightly snug, add some staples across the front, do the same thing to each side. Once you've done the front and the back, you won't have to do much to the side, but just pull out any of the slack. Add a couple staples on each side. Now we're ready to do the corners. Pull the cloth as so, pull back, just put a staple right across that, and then you'll see there'll be 2 other bunched up pieces of cloth, and you can just pull those until they're tight, and then just repeat that for the other 3 corners. Once you've done all 4 corners, then you can take a pair of scissors and cut off the excess cloth. You want to cut the excess cloth off so that it doesn't hold the bottom from going on correctly. Once you have the cloth back on, you can reinstall the bottom. Okay, the next step is to cut a hole so we can get the input plate back out here. Feel where the input plate is, and then we're going to go right in the center of that plate, and we're going to cut a hole across about 2-inch hole, 1 inch on each side of the actual plate. Now I'm going to feel where the corners are and kind of cut diagonally toward those corners. All four, only cutting another 2 inch or so long area. Once I've done that, you'll be able to stretch the cloth around and through the hole. Then pull the cloth just slightly snug. You'll feel the inset of where the plate goes and put a staple there. Do the exact same thing on the bottom. Then you can add another staple on each side of that. Then add 3 or 4 staples to the side. Once that's done, you trim off some of the cloth. And now your plate's ready to be reinstalled. And install the 6 screws. We have the plate installed. The last step will be to reinstall the top. This is just regular carpenter's type wood glue. Spread some around each dowel pin. You can add a little bit of caulking to the existing caulking that's already here. We use rubber butyl sealant. If that's not available, any type of latex-based caulking will work just fine. Just put a slight bead across the caulking that is already there. Clear across. Once you've done that, you can set the top back on, and you can either press it into place with your hands if it doesn't want to go all the way down by tapping on it. If you have a rubber mallet, you can tap and then check the corners, make sure all 4 corners are down, and you're done.